Ben & Jerry's topped tiramisu. All right, so while I play catch up with all these other packs, so I got fudge on my hand already. We're gonna try to incorporate some new flavors that a lot of people have scooped, and a lot of people are still in the hunt for. It seems like anytime Ben & Jerry's releases a new, I'm eating off the counter. Anytime Ben & Jerry's releases a new flavor, lineup, whatever, it seems to be sporadically distributed across the nation. And in fact, there's 7 of these top flavors. I'd be seriously shocked if you found all 7 at a store, stocked like all 7 flavors in one store. Bet you're gonna have to hit up a few to find them all. Anyways, that's a good question. Let me know if you've seen them all in one location. Now, tiramisu is a mascarpone ice cream with fudge swirls, shortbread pieces. Fudge swirls and shortbread pieces. All that's topped with espresso fudge chunks and chocolatey ganache. So we have that ganache layer. Again, I've eaten probably half of it, but you can see the other half broken up here. So, well, let me get this out of the way first. I'm not the biggest tiramisu fan. I can honestly say I've only had it a few times, and the few times I've had it, it's probably been crap. Like, I don't even know what good tiramisu is. Nonetheless, it's not that high on my dessert rankings. That, however, does not mean it can't be a good ice cream. There's been plenty of flavors that have grown on me and that have changed my perspective in certain ways. So let's get this out of the way. We'll start with the top again. The chocolatey ganache, phenomenal. If you remember from the last review, Whiskey Biz, it was a white chocolate. This is just a regular chocolate, your normal chocolate ganache, and it is awesome. Same consistency. If you let it temper, it's soft, not too soft, but it's not crunching or cracking apart. Your spoon just kind of cuts right through it, and when you eat it, it just slowly melts away in your mouth. Now, this is what I get for saying in the last review, Whiskey Biz, last top review, Whiskey Biz, that I didn't think the fudge chunks did anything to the flavor profile, and they kind of got in the way. This time, I didn't get any fudge chunks. And the reason I wanted them is because they're espresso fudge chunks. There's nothing I love more. That's a lie. It's one of my favorite flavor combos, coffee and chocolate. It goes together so good, and I wanted espresso amidst all this chocolate ganache. And I hate to say it, not one fudge chunk, 0 fudge chunks. But that's karma getting me back. The mascarpone base is far from the best mascarpone ice cream I've ever scooped. It's sweet, slightly nutty. You can maybe make a case for even a little butter, but even that's a stretch. The bottom line is it lacks just a lot of cheese flavor. So actually, I don't know if I need to eat my words or if Ben & Jerry's needs to eat their words, because it says it's all topped with espresso fudge chunks. But I'm finding a few here. I guess we're halfway down. You can see one here, here. There's another one hanging off right here. Bit into them. I like the crunchy, contrasting bites compared to the soft ganache. And they have a fair amount of espresso in them, and I love espresso. It's probably my favorite coffee drink. Yeah, you can make a case for cold brew. I like that too, but espresso is where it's at. I'm pleasantly surprised, but ultimately I do need more of them in this pint. Do you know where shortbread pieces, they're hard to see because they blend in with the base, rank in terms of my in my mix-in rankings? There's a big chunk here. Near the bottom. Why? Because they just don't do anything for the pint, ever. I shouldn't say anything. They have in this case, a lot of times they're hard. Kudos here, Ben & Jerry's. They're not hard. It's almost like a biscuit, like a fluffy biscuit. It's firm, but it's chewy, almost spongy. That's a better word. It's spongy. You can tell when you bite into it, it's got that spongy texture to it without being overly hard. I do appreciate the texture. However, flavor-wise, they never stand out. Never. No butter, no salt, no nothing. And that's the case here. They're here strictly for a textural standpoint. So I guess that leaves us with the fudge swirls. Yeah, so a fair amount of them. You can see the biggest pool I came across is still chilling down here. And it's not the densest of textures. That big pool gives you that gooey, sticky consistency, but most of it kind of just, I don't want to say exactly blends into the base, but it's not the densest of swirls. As far as flavor, so both the ganache and the fudge, they're rich, as expected. The ganache has a more, while it's still sweet, it has more of a slightly salty, but more bitter chocolate flavor. In the fudge swirl, we're dealing with a rich, but also very sweet chocolate flavor. So the contrasting chocolates are a nice component of this pint. I'm not the biggest fan, as you can probably tell by now, of this tiramisu flavor. Some good, some bad points. Ultimately, the two main components I feel like consist of tiramisu, this lacked on it. Lacked the mascarpone cheese flavor and the coffee. Like, it's a coffee flavored Italian dessert. Like, I needed way more coffee than what was in this pint. And really the only thing going for it, and they are crushing it, is the ganache layers. Like, the ganache is phenomenal. But as far as calling this tiramisu, they definitely missed the mark with this one. 5 out of 10.